She is the moment. She has arrived.
Who? It's fun.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Dom.
I'm Jaquan, and welcome back to Murderous Friends. What's your birthday?
It was really good. I had a party and all of the things, rented out a venue, invited a lot of my friends to come. And it's like, you don't really know how many people is like willing to show up for you until you do something like that. So it was really good to see everybody who like showed up for me and let me know like I care about you, girl. So that was fun.
A party.
Yes, and then what about your birthday?
The time was had. A
You
time
was
was
out of the
had.
country, honey.
Yeah, we did Lisbon and Madrid. So I was gone for about a good 9 days, 10 days.
Oh, he got money.
They'll say that too well there.
Yeah, as long as you
It
had a
says
good time,
murderous.
that's all that matters.
This murderous friend. Somebody might be looking for me or something, thinking I got money. Don't say it too loud.
What
Uh,
was your favorite part of your birthday?
I really enjoyed the whole trip, but it was just more so just the people. Yeah, I really enjoyed spending time with my partner and spending time with my brother, my friends. It was just make the trip, really, really great. As much as I love traveling and as much as I love doing anything, I really love spending time with the people that I truly care about. And so just to have them there with me in the drinks, I
Period.
love a drink,
Had to mention that, yes. So I can only imagine. I was looking at the pictures. I was living vicariously through you on your story. I was like, oh, he having a blast.
Yeah, they do good pours, big, heavy pours, big cups. So that's good.
But honey, what do you think about this case? Like, it just kind of got me a little perplexed personally.
Mm, mm. Yeah, it's crazy because it's still an ongoing case. I already feel like they already wrote the case off, and that's sad because he's a young kid.
Yeah,
Um,
20 years old.
First of all, this is about Derek Samuel, 20 years old.
Yes.
Uh, found well, first he went missing. His family, went missing, and his family was offering $5,000 to find him. And then it's kind of long story short. It's not really a long story to tell because it's again open case, and they kind of already deemed it a, in a sense. But yeah, 20 years old. Um, They had been looking for him. They looked in these same areas over by this was over in East Point, Georgia, over in Atlanta. It's over on the south side, kind of going towards College Park, towards the airport and all of that. There's like this center, like this shopping center over there or whatever, and they said that they had searched that area before, like behind it. There's some apartments and things like there, and they had said they had searched these areas before a
Mhm.
few times, and they hadn't found anything. And then all of a sudden, it was finding this body in one spot and then in another spot. Now, mind you, they had previously searched both of these areas, and then
Yeah.
now you find his body separate from his phone and all those other belongings.
Like his belongings, right?
And then you deem it as no. Now, so far, it's but no foul play.
No foul play. And then, if I'm not mistaken, the detective stopped himself before he said not a suicide. So it could come like, but where's the evidence of that?
I just don't feel that it's not discussed enough. They're not talking about it enough to even talk about what all they said is, well, we searched these areas and we didn't find anything. Then you find this body and you find it separate. But for you to deem it no foul play is crazy because you can't tell me that something didn't happen to him, even
Yeah.
if it was a suicide or whatever. You may have hurt yourself. Even if it was a suicide, how is his stuff not with him?
Yeah. How did it get here and there and scattered about? If it's no foul play, not a homicide, you stopped yourself from saying it was a suicide. So what is it? All we know right now is that it's an ongoing investigation according to detectives. So that part is crazy to me personally.
But how do you feel about them deeming it as like no foul play? It's really not much. It's that he was last seen over there at the Target. There's a Target over there in the Camp View
Yeah.
marketplace. They said that was the last place that they had seen him. And they said they walked out and they hadn't seen him anymore. It's not much like we know much about the story. We don't know if he may have gotten into an argument with his family before, with his friends, or whatever the case is. Especially at 20, and not to say that all 20-year-olds are the same, but I remember being 20 and how upset or how headed and I just storm off and go off by myself. So we don't
Mhm.
know what necessarily happened. But this
Right.
is Atlanta. A lot happens here. A lot of people go missing all the time,
Mhm.
and we don't talk about it enough. We don't talk about how people go missing. And we've had people bodies they've been found by water, or they've been found in areas, and it's been months and weeks, and times have gone on that they have been looking for them. So it was getting a little traction. The case was being talked about, and all of a sudden the body was found.
Yeah.
And I can't for you to say no foul play and him not to be with his belongings is bullshit to me.
I think preliminarily to just say off the drip, no foul play is crazy because it's still an ongoing investigation. How do y'all figure off the drip, like, oh yeah, we're gonna put this out immediately that there's no foul play if you're still doing an ongoing investigation? That part don't make sense. The two don't correlate to me. I would imagine that if it's an ongoing investigation, y'all have to figure it out, not just say, hey, this is what it's not.
It's just too much open. And honestly, look, there is a lot going on. There is new crimes, but I feel like it's not much focus being put on. I feel like they need to do more. I definitely think that they need to reinvestigate, start over from scratch, take the steps of talking to the fans. One thing that mom said she know where he was last seen coming from Target, going towards
Mhm.
Commerce Road or whatever. But what happened before? Like
Yeah.
we see y'all be so deep to get into everybody else's business or at any other time. If it was a white person, they would have wanted to know everybody that they was talking to that day, the arguments,
Yes.
all of this stuff would have been in this would have all
Confirmed.
been released. This information would have been relevant. You would have had some
Yes.
suspects of
Mhm.
friends, mom and daddy even would have been a suspect at this point. You're not hearing no stories about what led up to it. You're not doing no investigation. Even though you search these areas, like what led y'all to go back to the now all of a sudden, what steps do you think that they should take? You hear me personally, I just feel like they need to
Yeah.
start to talk to friends and family and really kind of get a full idea of his life.
'Cause, from my research, it's a lot of unconfirmed things, right? So, one source says that he got dropped off he was in a car full of his friends. So, we need witness statements. We need to see who he was with that day leading up. We need the cell towers. Where was his cell phone? What towers was his cell phone bouncing off of? What area was he in? We need extensive camera footage. We can't just rely on the Target camera footage. This is a complex. There are multiple cameras around that area, and I know it wasn't just Target that caught him walking. So we need to go back, like you said, redo the whole investigation. It's given it was rushed. It's given care wasn't taken. It's given that they don't really care about resolving it.
I agreed, especially with the cameras. I've had a friend who used to live behind it, and so like there's like a little walkway behind it. There's apartments back there. You don't know who may have some kind of ring camera footage. You never know stuff around that can help with
We
stuff. And so
live
I
in a
feel like
digital age. Everything's being recorded. Literally everything is being recorded. So for me, it's crazy that there's no footage outside of the Target footage that they keep bringing up in the investigation, in the research, and all of that. It just really doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
um and I definitely agree with that, but and I know people like, oh well, maybe the resources might not be there to be able to go do all that. It's not hard to go ask people, knock on these, go to these businesses, ask them
Yeah.
for, some footage. I'm pretty sure they will be willing to help. Like East Point over that way, there's a lot of black people that live up that way. So when it comes to a 20-year-old kid, I'm pretty sure that they will be more than willing to, try to help or, offer assistance. And who's to say that they probably haven't been, offering. And I like
Yeah.
this because East Point is black. So I would like to think that the police over there, I mean, but most of the police in Atlanta, of course, are pretty much black anyway. But
Yeah.
um, sometimes I think we still kind of just are oversight when it comes to these things. Collect more information. Hell, you even got drones out here. You never know what is being caught on that.
Literally.
But there should be way more on the ground work going on around that whole area because you swept that area. He wasn't there for the first several times that you went there, and then all of a sudden he was back there.
Right.
If this is true to your investigation, they couldn't have went far. So I'm not understanding why there's not much more going. on the ground.
It's giving y'all want us to believe that y'all searched it, he wasn't there, somebody randomly dropped the body there, and then y'all searched it again and y'all found him. It's a possibility, but it don't make a lot of sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So, do you think, going back to a previous point you had, do you think this investigation would have been handled if this had not been a black or brown person?
Oh yeah, there would be. I mean, the reward. I mean, granted, not to say that this is not a shot at the family or whatever, but somebody else would have probably offered up a reward for answers at this point, right? It would still constantly be in the news because if you even when you're looking up this article, and this just happened in May,
They found his
right?
body on my birthday.
And here we are at the end of June, and there's really still no coverage of what's going on. They ain't even talking about it though. It's
Yeah,
not even really been discussed anymore. Had this been somebody that was white, this would have definitely been all over the news. There would have been more
okay.
articles. There would have been write-ups about the family history. We would have learned family history and shit by now.
Literally, I've not been able to find early years, high school, middle school, family information. I've not been able to find any of that, and I've just kinda brushed that off as if, "Okay, this is very, very new, so I'm not gonna get that," but to your point, had it been a white person, we have all of that already. We know up and down, front and back, this person who's gone missing, in my opinion.
And if it was white, we would have knew the last time daddy took a shit. Because
At
that's how
this point.
that's how thorough they go,
Yeah,
and all of a sudden we know what kind of person the dad is, what kind of person mom is, because they take it that far to go. And I'm saying that by
right.
all means, we definitely don't need you digging in black folks' business. We hate that. We don't want you on our business like that.
Right.
But I'm just saying, y'all would have taken it there because it would have been truly seen as this white child being a victim. But for whatever, when it's black, it's all of a sudden, again, in my mind, when it said no foul play, who the fuck even said, like, why do we have
Yeah,
to straight go there thinking that? I mean, Brent said, anytime a person comes up missing and, do find them dead, you do think of it. But for that to just instantly be like, oh, well, there's no foul play. And then you catch
right.
yourself on the suicide thing.
So, in terms of the investigation in general, what types of things would you think should have been done differently?
Just more canvas and more on the ground. Shit, they got dogs. We at the height of technology.
Yeah.
You got shit in the field to use in the field to
Mhm.
kind of
Now, they
pinpoint
did say
footsteps on
that
that.
they were using the cadaver dogs on at least one of the searches. But the other reportings of the investigation has me not even believing that.
Let's say that let's say that he was dead, right? And he was in the area. And truly, they did not find his body. We live in a very pick me culture, very do anything for clout type of thing. And so let's just say that maybe somebody was holding his body in the house and because the police were around there searching, maybe they just like, let me get this out of my house. Because what if they start coming to knock on doors? It still just doesn't add up. There's no questioning of friends. Where was his friends?
Yeah.
Was he hanging out with them? Did he have a friend in the Did he have a girlfriend?
We know none of that information.
Did he live over there in that area? This case seems very impersonal. They didn't bother to care. Oh, it's another black kid going missing. He's young.
And there's one particular fact of the case that's kinda got me leaning more towards suicide, and it was the fact that shortly before he went missing, he just kinda cut communication with his family, his loved ones. He wasn't talking to his twin sister, he wasn't talking to his mama on a regular basis like he would previously, and that, to me, says mental health issues. Or maybe they got into it and but I don't understand why that wouldn't be reported. They said there was nothing that would have caused him to do this, he just kinda randomly did it. He just kinda randomly cut ties with his close personal family.
We can say that, but what people fail to realize is it's very hard to be a black man because when it comes to mental health issues, like we don't talk about it because we're not allowed to, display our feelings. So a lot of us deal with depression and we just deal with it. That's just simply it. We
Mhm.
don't cry about it with the fear of somebody gonna call me a punk or somebody's gonna say that I'm a bitch because,
Show
I'm
emotion.
in my feelings. Or yeah, we're not allowed to cry. Like how many times we had to hear growing up, you boys don't cry or you stop doing all that. So when you get older, especially at 20 years old, like finish high school or whatever the case is. I'm not into it no more. I'm out here trying to figure out life. And so we don't know what he was going through. And maybe he just was trying to find himself or, you know, everything. But I
Yeah.
will say that being in Atlanta for as long as I have been here now, I have definitely seen high suicide a high suicide rate amongst young black men here
Mhm.
in Atlanta. So it could be that, but why not say that on the trigger? Well, why not even want to mention that being a
Right.
possibility is just like no foul play. So since it's no foul play, it's not worth investigating.
Right. Right. So just kind of digging a little bit into Derek Samuel's background, by all extents and purposes, his family, his friends, he was described as a cheerful person. He was someone who was always smiling. He had big dreams of one day starting his own clothing brand. So he had something to live for. So the facts of the investigation and the description of this person don't really mesh for me. Like you said, he went missing in East Point, Georgia on April 29th of 2026. And according to the reports, his body was discovered on May 31st, and it was located in a wooded area behind Reserve at Woodwine Apartments, and that's right there in that shopping center
Uh,
that you were mentioning. He was last seen at that East Point Target. That's the last footage they saw. Again, the detectives have ruled no foul play already. They said that a gun and a single shell casing were located next to his body, and it was not ruled a suicide, according to police, and that the investigation is still ongoing. That sentence don't even make sense together. There were multiple searches of the area, just as you mentioned. And like we said, I mean, it's giving dump the body, police presence increases. Now I'm scared. Or I've got the body, police presence increases, so I'm not gonna dump it, and then the police are gone, so now I'll get rid of the body so they're not sniffing around my door. But if that's the case, there's no footage, there's no witness statements, there's nothing to corroborate that. So how do you search an area, find absolutely nothing? You don't find these shell casings, you don't find any of his personal belongings, you don't find anything, and then you go back a couple days later and then you find all this stuff.
there's no way that there's no way that these are all the details to this case.
Yeah, yeah. What makes it very strange to me is the lack of, like, care. Like,
It's not personal to them.
it's like you said, it's very impersonal. It almost seems like a Lifetime movie or something, you know what I mean? Like, it don't seem real, but this is very real. A young man in real life reality lost his life, and we've got no details. And it's going along and along as if it's gonna be a cold case.
And it's just not fair to his family. I couldn't imagine not talking to a family member for an extended period of time, or a family member just cut me off, like not talking to me for a while, and then like now all of a sudden they're gone. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was a suicide thing. 'Cause this is Atlanta, and not even just would have been Atlanta. Like this world is there are some evil ass people in this world. There
For
are
sure.
really people out here just doing stuff, and especially in this political climate. Like these racist people are very much so way more in your face, and this is the South.
Very much emboldened. Yeah.
This is the South. Like I tell people all the time, Indiana, like one thing we learned about racism is kind of systematic. We learned that early, but not so
Yeah.
much in your face racism besides the motherfucking Fort Wayne Police Department.
Oh,
However, uh, but kind of learn that along the way. But in the South, oh baby, these people, they don't give a fuck. They're very
yeah.
in your face racist with it. And so
Yeah.
I know people like, oh, we always have to have this race conversation. Well, yes. Juneteenth was yesterday.
Mhm.
God damn it. And black people are tired of it
Yeah.
seeming as though we don't matter. When it
Right.
comes to stuff happening to us, there's nowhere near as much time or effort put into investigations. There's
Mhm.
not enough time put into these interviews with people. They don't give
Mhm.
a fuck. Unless it's high case, like for instance, we talked about the shit with Beverly busting
Yeah.
it open. Yeah, it was an entertaining ass case because of the fact of who
The
the fuck is
drama.
sleeping with the drama of
Yeah.
it, right? So that's the only time that these investigations, when they can exploit the family, or for
Yes.
the, like you said, this was a sweet little, it was a sweet kid. And then all of a sudden something went wrong with he's not talking to his family. Sometimes as men, we do just need a little time to figure some shit out,
Right.
right? But who's to say that he wasn't getting that? And maybe came across somebody who just, there are some
Yes.
evil ass people out here who just don't give up. Or it could be a friend, but we don't know that. It could be an enemy.
Yeah.
Talk to a friend. Like, do he have some beef with somebody out here? Because he's young, and I'm not saying he's a YN, but we know he was YN age, right?
Right.
Not putting him in the category of that, but these kids are out here having beef with people for the dumbest shit these days. Hell, it could have
For
been
no reason,
I don't like the
essentially.
fact that this man got more followers than me on TikTok type of ordeal. You never know,
Yeah.
but everybody is so big on clout and all these things nowadays that they will kind of do anything. Pulling his body out and missing, and all of this is happening right before we got, FIFA World Cup this year.
Yes.
Just and so now people are really showing their ass. Just like for instance, as soon as they announced that they were doing a federal investigation on MARTA, which is the public transportation system, about the crime that happens on it. Soon after they did that, all of a sudden somebody goes on MARTA and shoots somebody. Literally the day after they announced that there was a federal investigation. And I just feel like people just kind of do whatever to make a name for ourselves. And so it's just very unfortunate when they don't put as much care into a case like this, because there are so many factors. There are so many different things that this could be. My whole thing is, y'all didn't even say nothing about his body. What was wrong
Right.
with his body?
Like,
What
what was
damage
the
was happened?
injury?
Was he stabbed? Was he shot?
Yeah.
Like none of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's no foul play.
No
So
foul play
you just found
off
his
the rip.
body laid out, natural naturally caused in the place that, so he was coming back and just passed out.
Right. What sense does that make? So, what would you suggest in terms of his family getting their justice or getting some answers? Like, how would they go about this, do you think?
Petition, go and talk. The good thing about the internet these days is everybody's doing podcasts, everybody's doing these shows, everybody's kind of doing these things that they have a reach of people, right? And so you have to get out here and tell people what's going on. You have to keep on pushing in his face that, hey, my son is dead and I don't know what happened. And
Yeah.
East Point ain't really trying to help me.
Mhm.
So I definitely say get the support of the community. I'm definitely down to help. If it's a petition, if it's you need to go down there and every day and talk to the police and you need some support, go ahead. Reach out to some of these attorneys that specialize in going for cases like this. So I would definitely
Yeah.
say reaching out to local organizations, NGOs, and all of those things to just fight it. You
Yeah.
don't have to, because otherwise it's going to be, well, we have this going on, we have this going on. And again, this is I get it's Atlanta. Something's going on every day. There's always going to be a new problem, but hell, don't let them push your son's
Kinda
case
sweep
under,
it
because
under the rug.
right, because who's to
Yeah.
say if this becomes a trend of now we got more and more young boys missing because there's somebody out here
Serial
just
killer, it
off
could
in
be
the,
anything,
it could
you
be any
know?
fucking thing going on.
Yeah. Me personally, I would say for the family, they need to hire a private investigator. They need to hire a private investigator, get somebody who's, like you said, boots on the ground, whose only interest in this is figuring out what happened to him. I feel like they also need to request a secondary autopsy, third party, unbiased person who does not work for the city of Atlanta. So they can get these results, so they can see what's really going on. What were his injuries? What were the extent of his injuries? What caused his death?
Well, maybe actually they might need the city of Atlanta, because one thing about it, they investigate. Now, this is East
Okay.
Point, just separate. There's so many, like, even with me, I live in, what's my business out here? I live in like Brookhaven area. And literally, like, if you go down the block, it's Buckhead. You come back this way, it's Brookhaven.
Okay.
Two different police departments.
Okay. So then it
So,
could get a little messy there.
right, because I also live like out of DeKalb County.
Okay.
So, Fulton County Police not going to be, this way.
Yeah.
East Point, that's a whole nother thing. Granted, it's still kind of like, it's easy, like, it's still kind of all Atlanta, but, the
Right.
different areas. But each of them, they all have their own
Okay.
police. Even MARTA has their own police. Now, that could be a thing. Partner with City of Atlanta, see if they may be willing to offer, some resources or something.
Yeah.
Um, Hell, go to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. They'll help
Yeah.
you.
They need answers. That's what we're missing in this case. There are no answers to these big questions.
The second autopsy, I definitely agree with that because we don't know really what happened. So like we can speculate, we just found his body, but y'all never even say what happened. Oh, we found his body, but it's no foul play. But we found
Right,
his phone and stuff
right.
nowhere, not near him.
There's been no release of, well, I'm sure that's because it's still ongoing, but did you guys get into the phone and see who he's been communicating with? Like, what in we definitely gonna have to follow up on this and see if we get these answers, but as of right now, it doesn't give that we are.
Not unless we push. Why are we not getting the same extent of the law as everybody else when it comes to
Exactly.
investigating what's going on? Unless it makes us look bad. When it looks makes us look bad, then all of a sudden it's
It's hot headlines, it's great news. Yep,
so I definitely want to do a second part of this once
for
more
sure.
information drops, but I think that it's important to get information out about it because I've talked to a few people and they're like, no, they didn't even hear that. And that's people live here in Atlanta. Like, how do we not know that that's going on
Yeah,
here? Especially when a lot of us are either connected to someone younger in some way, shape, or form. Like we have nephews, we have family members,
yeah,
whether if they live here in Atlanta or not.
yeah,
Especially if they don't live here, that's something that you have to worry about because
yeah,
people want to visit. So you need to know what's going on around. Because what if you get your young nephew or somebody that comes down here? There's somebody out here hunting little boys or
right,
little kids because people are on some evil ass shit like that. And
yeah.
so it's
Could
important
definitely
to
be a
know.
possibility.
Yeah, it could be easily brushed off. Oh, it's no stop. Like, oh well, he was just out here doing whatever. No, because that also now, one thing about me, I'm going to feel the same way about you when you were on this earth as when you left this earth. However, if you don't deserve to have your name smeared through the mud and all of that, that's not fair.
Right,
And this boy was 20 years old. And yeah, maybe he stopped talking to his family for whatever reason, but we don't know what that was.
right,
And we probably won't ever know because they don't seem to care.
yeah,
So definitely keep on pushing, make up petitions, asking, pushing for other things. Hell, ask to see if you can get another county or another city to come over and help with the
and
investigation. I
yeah,
understand jurisdictions and things do exist, and East Point is a lot smaller in terms than it is to Atlanta, APD or whatever. So I get that, but sometimes they have a wider reach. They might be able to give you an investigator, help you with an investigator. Hell, when I was going through my little case last year and I had to go through Fulton County, I worked with a victim advocate. They have all these different things that allow people to walk you through the process of because I didn't really know what she was for. I just know that somebody kept calling me like, "Yeah, no, they got to go to court." I was like, "Girl, who are you?" But she was very helpful. Was there for the assistance, and then she was like, they offered sources. Like if I would have needed to go to counseling or anything like that, they have these different resources and things available. And I
mhm,
can understand if maybe smaller ones might not have resources, but victim advocates I think are important when it comes to working with families because I think
and
they're really good at kind of explaining what's going on. And then they're kind of the person that can communicate, be a liaison between the two. Like, hey, well, they're feeling like there's not much
being
being
done.
done. There are criminal justice organizations, things exist, non-governmental. I personally wanted to, create one for, mental health and substance abuse services and things like that. But they do have them for all, especially for families and, victims who have gone through things or that, have lost someone. So I would definitely also suggest that too, working with somebody.
So all in all, I think the most important thing as of right now with the investigation being pending is like you said, just getting the name out there, getting Samuel out there, some light shown on this case because there are so many unanswered questions and maybe highlighting the fact that the questions are unanswered will push the investigation to release those answers.
Absolutely. And I didn't want to let this case get too far out. I know it's very
Mhm.
fresh, but and that's why it's sick important to get his name out there so people can ask questions because we do a really good job of when a white person wrongs us or they get in their comments talking wrong, guess what? We go find them and we contact their jobs.
Okay.
Right. So I definitely say to the family, reach out, lean on this community because one
Yeah.
thing for sure, especially if it's out there and people knowing about it and they hearing about it,
Somebody's gonna
we want
talk.
to know. We want to know some answers, so we're gonna figure out
Yeah.
something. Because all of a
Mhm.
sudden, well, that was Man's friend, and he did see him on this
Mhm.
day.
Right.
I saw him over this way. Sometimes it's just about people speaking up, and I know that that's really a thing that we don't like to do because we don't like to seem like we're snitching or just one thing for sure. As much as we love to hear other people's business, we don't like to be in the midst of it.
Okay.
That's
That
white
part.
people shit, baby. Y'all go out here and insert y'all yourself into people's shit that you ain't got no business doing. But
But in this
um,
case, it wouldn't be that, even though that's the stigma. In this case, a person lost his life and we have no answers. So that technically is not snitching. That's just giving the information that you know about this unsolved case.
right, we know that.
Right.
But we also know how people feel regardless of whatever I seen. I ain't seen shit. I ain't heard shit. I didn't know. It's a double-edged sword because if something, as soon as something happens to your family member, you want people to speak up. I've lost a brother to gun violence. So I know what it is to be on that end of wanting answers, wanting to know what's going on. They had the motherfuckers that did some things to my brother where they had them in custody and the police let them go.
Yeah.
All because people might not want to speak up, or now the people who were willing to say something or they did say something now have nothing else to say. And it's just the society that we live in. Not having information about anything, we just don't want to talk about it because we don't want to be deemed as this or feel like we in the middle of stuff or you kind of shit like that. So it's just it's so crazy because I just had this conversation about code switching and stuff at work the other day, and it's kind of like it's how we still have to, we still kind of do it in our everyday lives outside of work. We want to still have our professional life. We still want to do what we want to, but we still gotta, for some reason, still want to make sure that people know we black or don't want to be seen as a sellout, so we don't do certain things.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, guys, I want to say thank you for tuning in to this episode. I want everybody to keep looking into this case, keep talking about this case, keep spreading awareness about this so we can potentially get answers, so the family can get answers. We are definitely 100% going to do a follow up when there's more information. So there will be a part two. So you guys be looking for that.
And do not let Derek's 20 years old, Derek Samuels, do not let his name go quiet because this is a fucking mess that they have
Well,
exceeded that, and there's not enough. And again, we understand that it's still ongoing, but there should be way more information available.
exactly. Exactly. So, yes, those are the facts of the case at this point. Again, we want to say thank you for tuning in. You can follow us on all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, TikTok.
TikTok,
Yes.
all the things, all the places.
Yes. Yes.
Make sure you subscribe, and definitely on
Oh,
YouTube.
yes. And do all of the subscribey things. Hit all our buttons. Get in the chat with us. Give us case suggestions. We want to chat with you guys. We want to hear what you guys want to hear about.
So we all say all that to say, thank you yet again for sitting with your murderous friends. We will
Yes.
see you again very, very soon.
Very, very soon. Peace. How millennial of us.